Yo, what's going on, guys? Stickyniks here, human being here to read some Reddit stories and provide my reaction and potentially overshare with you. Today we have 4 stories. I would say 5. It's 4 with an update. I would say I'm speechless, but today I think I yapped more than I ever have recording one of these. So sit back, relax, throw me on the second monitor or your TV. I am ready to be your background noise while you study, clean, fall asleep, whatever it is you need to do. But if I am your first monitor content, thank you. I'm well aware this is second monitor content. Without further ado, let's jump into the stories. Thank you so much for watching in the first place. AITA for refusing to attend my childhood best friend's destination wedding after they uninvited my wife. This one was posted 7 days ago, so I wonder if there's an update. Jumping in. My best friend from childhood is getting married. He and his fiancée have been together for about 7 years and planned a destination wedding. They wanted a similar, more intimate wedding and decided to combine the bachelor and bachelorette party into a week-long trip. About a year ago, I was told about the wedding and was asked to attend. I was specifically told that both my wife and I were invited. The only thing we would need to pay for was our airfare. Everything else would be covered. That's nice. Over the last year, there were multiple conversations confirming that both my wife and I would be attending. Based on that, we requested and received PTO from work, bought plane tickets, and started preparing for the trip. We bought clothes and other things that we would need for a week-long destination wedding. About a month and a half before the wedding, my friend told me there was no longer enough space for my wife. Apparently, she had been cut from the guest list and there was only room for me. He also mentioned that numerous other guests were upset. Some people had to pay for their own accommodations elsewhere if they want to attend after previously being told that they would be covered. And some guests had their invitations revoked entirely because they were over capacity. I was honestly shocked. I told him that if my wife couldn't attend, then I wouldn't be attending either. I asked him what happened and why this situation occurred. I wanted an honest explanation. His response was basically that they didn't realize they had a capacity issue until invitations were sent out. I asked how that could happen if they already knew the venue capacity beforehand. He refused to answer directly and kept saying that this wasn't about the guests because it's their wedding. I told him that while it is absolutely their wedding and their choice, they had set clear expectations a year in advance and repeatedly confirmed those expectations. Now, after people had spent money, used PTO, and made plans, they were changing things and expecting everyone to be okay with it. He and his fiancée have taken no responsibility for the situation and instead blamed the guests for overreacting. He also told me that I was the only one making a big deal about not being able to bring my wife. To be clear, I never demanded that they reinvite her. I simply told him that if my wife wasn't welcome, I wouldn't be attending either. Am I the asshole for being angry about this and refusing to go to the wedding? Wow. First of all, I'm gonna give the verdict already. No. OP is not the asshole. And I don't know. Maybe anybody else has been invited to a destination wedding. But those things are expensive, you know? The only reason I was willing to spend so much on the one destination wedding I've been to is because it was for my little brother. And they were upfront about the costs, at least. No surprises at the end. One thing that started really strong about this story is the fact that it was all expenses paid besides the flight. The flight, I get it. People have that would be way too complex to, compensate everybody on their flight plans. However, the only thing that you needed to pay for was airfare. Everything else would be covered. That's a whole week at a destination wedding. That is expensive. One thing that I think majority of people dislike about a destination wedding is the fact that it's expensive. You're traveling, you're going out of the way for somebody else's big day. And it can rack up, especially probably recently, probably thousands of dollars. Plane ticket alone can cost up to $1,000 more. So a whole week-long vacation for somebody else's wedding. Not to keep in mind, most people only have like 120 hours of PTO to use a year. Using a whole week of that, a quarter of your PTO to be able to go to somebody else's wedding. I get that this is OP's childhood best friend and everything, but this is after this is probably somebody I just would not want to associate with anymore. It sounds like OP and wife are kind of just on the same page here and not kind of they're on the same page and they're refusing to admit fault, and if they're just now getting married, they're starting the rest of their lives together. I wouldn't want to associate with either of these two people. Another thing that's funny, he also mentioned that numerous other guests were upset, but then when the OP tries to just seek clarity, he literally said, I just wanted an honest explanation. Later switched up and said that he told me I was the only one making a big deal and not able to bring my wife. He was literally just asking why. I feel like if anybody you could be honest to and maybe get this off of your chest to, it would be your childhood best friend. Like, I'm assuming the wedding guy, the groom, probably just ran into some budgeting issues. Hi, Nikki here in editing. I realized something. The guy's childhood best friend did not run into budgeting issues. They ran into poor planning, very likely. My guess, my assumption, is that the childhood best friend and his wife sent out more invites than the venue was capable of holding. And then more people said yes than they could physically have at the wedding, that they had to kind of retroactively take some of those invites back. I think next week there will be a story in r/confessions from the OP's childhood best friend because he didn't feel like he could tell his own friend in his life. Okay, back to the video. If you can confess that to anybody, it'd be your childhood best friend. OP has offered the following explanation as first to why they think they might be the asshole. I may be judged because it's my best friend's wedding. I've known him for 30 years at this point. I'm refusing to go to his wedding because my wife got her invitation revoked. I likely made it worse when I tried to argue with him and give me an honest answer. I may be the asshole because this may be a friendship ending event and I'm only pushing towards that direction. My wife was annoyed at first, but at the end of the day, this is my friend and not hers. She did say that if she were in my position, she would likely react the same way or worse. Yeah, no, I mean this person is incredibly introspective, and the person, first of all, the person the government would expect you to associate with is your wife here. Um, just because you've been friends with somebody for 30 years does not mean that you're obligated to be friends with them for the rest of your life. There's a chart that I'm thinking of. If I remember this in editing, I'm gonna put it up on screen right now. Some people, not everybody's meant to be in your life forever, and as time progresses, you spend more time with different people in your life. So at this point, if this guy's like what 30 something years old, he's probably spending most of his time with his coworkers and his partner and his maybe his kids at the end of the day. So I think it's important to spend the little time that you do have to associate with friends with people who are like-minded and won't pull some stuff like this on you. And even at that, like, OP is literally just asking for honesty. This guy can't provide honesty in this situation. I wouldn't feel too bad about it being a friendship ending event. You're okay, OP. Okay, let's lead this. This top comment has 13K upvotes and it's very succinct. I would not attend. I would go on a holiday with my wife, use the tickets, but I would not be attending. They can give your receipt to somebody else. See, you are assisting them. Oh, that's great. But yeah, I completely agree. And I hope OP posts some pictures in this thread later. This was only like a week ago. So the comments are pretty much all telling everybody that he is not the asshole. And just telling him to take a nice vacation with his wife. Yeah, no, I agree. This was a really popular post. Friendly reminder, I do put all of these just like in the description for you as well if you wanted to go see. There's 711 comments. I almost promise you every single one of those people is ruling this guy is not the asshole. So good job. Number one, story number one, and I'm proud of you, honestly, for setting that boundary. He could have just as easily just like bent over, left the wife at home. She could have had a staycation at home for a whole week. Or I guess she still could have came, but going to the wedding without her would have just been awful. I'm glad this person is setting a boundary with the friend at the end of the day. All right, let's move on to story number 2. Am I the asshole for being blunt with my boyfriend about why he isn't getting hired anywhere? Ooh, I like this. I, 26 female, have been with my boyfriend, 29 male, since 2024. We met online, and after a few years of friendship, he had gotten an insurance payout and decided to move to my state for a few months. What? Okay. Well, a few months turned into a couple years, and the insurance money had run out. Okay, pause. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. I hear of this happening way too often. People getting these massive payouts and then just quitting their jobs and just living off of this money. Oh my gosh. I know financial literacy is not something that's taught in this world, but I don't know. I guess logic is just a lost art as well. Because that insurance money is not going to last forever. I mean, like this is literally the whole concept of retiring. You need hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars to be able to retire. And that's to be able to live comfortably after you're 65, and you can't even live comfortably after you're 65 anymore. They're trying to increase the age of retirement. So living off an insurance payout, oh gosh, that's just insane. I've heard of this happen way too many times, like these bulk payments. The best thing you could do is invest. I mean, at this point with Google, I think I'll be a little bit less sympathetic to the fact I'm not even sympathetic. I guess I'll give less credit to the fact it's like, wow, I just got a massive payout. What do I do? Like, don't just quit your job. I saw a video of this guy. He what did he bet on? He bet on something. I think he bet on like the Knicks game or something, and he won $40,000. And he quit his job at Walmart. Yeah, sure. You won $40,000. That is probably about how much you make annually at Walmart, right? Um, I'd probably do the same thing. Take a nice week-long vacation with my wife after we got kicked out of a destination wedding, and then find another job and invest most of that money. Because that's, yeah, I get it. I understand quitting Walmart after making $40,000, but moving and then not working for years at a time after an insurance payout. All right, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to continue to read the story to prevent myself from sounding like a negative Nancy. Continuing the story. Well, a couple of months turned into a couple of years, and the insurance money had run out. Previous to the insurance payout, he had helped his dad with a landscaping business and had a few short-term jobs. Pizza, serving, etc. But no jobs lasting longer than a year. Once he ran out of insurance money, he began search for jobs. I digress. He quickly became frustrated because nobody was getting back to him. He would often threaten to give up and go move back with his parents. I'm an HR manager and hire people for my company on a regular basis. Oh my gosh, pause. I'm sorry. I just remembered what the title is. This is going to be great. Oh man. All right. I already decided. You are not an asshole, OP. I'll start that sentence over. I am an HR manager and hire people for my company on a regular basis. I took a look at his resume and explained no one was going to hire a 29-year-old who had less than 5 full years of work experience with years of gap between his jobs. He argued that he was applying for entry-level positions, and I explained that his age would be the downfall. It doesn't matter if it's entry-level. A 29-year-old not holding a job is a bad look. He is now stating that I am insensitive and make him feel like shit for not being able to contribute enough to our house. Though I have only asked him to help with groceries, I take care of the rest of the house bills. Admittedly, I think I could have addressed it in a softer manner, but I definitely let my personal feelings get in the way. I love him to death, but I feel it's ridiculous that he lived off his parents for as long as he did with no independence. So am I the asshole? For some added context, I did help him work through his resume. The initial conversation had stopped at, "This is the issue," because he had become too upset and let me help in the moment. Took a couple of hours, but eventually we were able to sit down and fluff it up, so to say. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. 1. The action I took to be judged was bluntly telling my boyfriend why he isn't getting hired anywhere. 2. I could be the asshole because I could have handled it in a softer way or not had been as blunt. Yeah, my mid-story reading is still valid. You are not the asshole. Um, I have a lot of thoughts about this. Not only just like my initial rant of you should not just be living off of an insurance payout for years on end. Before I had gone on that rant, the context that I had missing was that OP's boyfriend was relying on their boyfriend for years. The only job it seems that he held down was one with his father and his landscaping business, which like conflict of interest doesn't count. Few short-term jobs, pizza shop serving, etc. No job lasting longer than a year. Yeah. This this person needed to hear that, honestly. If anything, you're not an asshole. I think being brutally honest in this circumstance is the only thing that's gonna get this person to listen. That's the only thing that's gonna get your boyfriend to listen. First of all, you're 26, okay? If you guys have been doing this for a couple of years already, I understand that women, in general, mature faster than boys, but this is a 26-year-old telling the 29-year-old that 5 years of experience on a resume is not good enough. First of all, he's 29. That means that goes back to 24 years old. A couple years of an insurance payout. I mean, again, just goes back to the first mistake this person made was quitting their job as soon as they got this insurance payout. Like, long term, that's setting you up for failure. The gap in the resume. I don't know what he was doing. Probably didn't update his resume at all. Like, there's still ways, even if you have a gap in your resume, to, I don't want to say make it seem like you've been doing something, but like you could put projects in there. What did you do in that time? Nobody's gonna want to hire somebody who just didn't do something for years because of I'm stuck on this insurance payout thing, to be honest with you. I think that's the first mistake. I don't know if they live together now or what. I guess it sounds like they do, and she just takes care of everything. I think the fact that this girl is 26, frontal lobe is probably starting to develop, honestly. And she's probably eventually going to reach a breaking point. I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding my words here. I'm going to read some of these comments. Info. For me, the question is, what did you expect him to do with the information? If you had said, I think the problem may be you don't have enough work experience. For my work in HR, I think one way to tackle that is, but you didn't say that. You said you won't get hired because you don't have enough work experience. Fair. But what the heck is he supposed to do? Turn back time? 11K people have voted this. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, the first step to anything is just admitting there's a problem. So if this guy is like completely naive to the fact and ready to give up, by the way, ready to throw in the towel, not sure why he can't get a job. I think being upfront is important. I think clear is kind in this circumstance. Of course, I don't have the boyfriend's perspective. I don't understand what tone this girl used, but even if she was curt in her delivery, I do fear that could be addressed after the fact, and this guy needed to hear it either way. It did not need to be handled in a softer way. This guy's probably been gentle parent his entire life, and this is why he's a 29-year-old struggling to get an entry-level position in the first place. I mean, you could put anything on there. I'm wondering if he's like walked in. You could literally just probably walk into a grocery store and I don't know. Again, the job market nowadays is absolutely awful, but I've seen a lot of resumes in my time as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if his just looked awful. And also, she did mention that she helped him with the resume. I think it's also fair that if she did reach a breaking point, I don't want to use the term emotional abuse, but like there is such thing as like a reaction, like reactive responses to things. I don't know how long he was looking for jobs. It's probably somewhere in here, but it's probably somewhat of a reaction as well. I'm sure this guy is just being a downer all the time, and that energy is rubbing off on OP. So she can't be too hard on herself for like the projection either. She's an HR manager as OP, and if anybody is one qualified to tell this guy what's wrong with his resume and his work experience, or probably the best person to do so would be your partner, you know. I think he's also threatening to move back home. So what are you guys gonna do? Break up at that point? He's just gonna move home and just go like be miserable by himself. Again, I don't know. I know his parents live in a different state. So oh, I think this one's good. She did not make him feel irredeemable. She pointed out the obvious. He could have asked what she thinks he could do to remediate the issue. That is the natural result of his own negligence. He didn't like what she said and decided to throw a tantrum was his best response. Absolutely. I think that's it. Just because, again, clear is kind. I think if you need to tell somebody something, and while it may not be the news that they want to hear in that moment, as clear and direct as you can be about that, it's important. And if anything, like it's her obligation as this guy's girlfriend, as his partner. Keep reading the comment here. He's an adult. He could get some kind of job if he made any attempt at all. That's what I'm saying. Again, the job market, I get it. It's rough right now. But if he made any kind of attempt, if he's applying for jobs he thinks he should have rather than taking the jobs at places he thinks are beneath him, he'll bring in something and he won't have a huge gap in his work history. I would love to see how many applications this guy is putting in. Shout out Caleb Hammer. That's a podcast, YouTube series that I watch. A lot of people will say they're doing things and then won't have evidence to back it up either. He's probably applying to what he thinks an entry-level position is rather than a true entry-level position as well. He's grown. She's not his mom. She's not obligated to support him indefinitely and making sure his ego never interacts with the real world enough to get bruised. Yeah, I mean, eventually this is going to turn to, like, she's literally only asking him to contribute for groceries. This is, and she takes care of the rest of the house bills. Oh my goodness. She's asking him to help pay for groceries, and he can't get, even a part-time job would be able to do that, you know, and just get a part-time job, put it on the resume. Okay, I'm getting riled up. I feel bad for this girl. This post was only a day ago, so this is what I'm actually gonna bookmark. And I want to come back to it to see if she comes back and says that she broke up. I feel like in these videos I'm constantly rooting for OP to like break up with their partner. I'm not a relationship hater, okay, to be clear. I don't know, I think sunken cost fallacy is something that's heavily present in the relationship world. There's a point. One, if you set a boundary and the person like fixes themselves, great, then the relationship's going to continue to grow and get better over time. But if you just, you know, continue to tolerate things that are not okay and you wouldn't do to somebody else and that you don't want out of your life partner, again, think about that picture of how much time you spend with people in your life. Like that the last part of your life when you're like barely able to move is going to be spent with this partner. So is this somebody that you think is gonna wipe your ass when you get your hip replaced? I don't think so. So yeah, I am a hater. I am in favor of these two breaking up. But if you have like a respectful relationship that, you know, thrives on feedback, sure, go ahead. You don't need to break up. I haven't seen one of these yet. And again, keep in mind we're in the AITA Reddit, so I'm sure if I went into like wholesome stories or something, I would run into probably different responses to these. Let me know. I don't know. I feel like the juicy stories are the better ones that I like to watch when I watch these Reddit stories. So let me know if we should switch it up one day and listen to some wholesome ones. To be honest, I'm not a fan. I'm here for the juice. Okay. With that rant, let's move on to story number 3. I feel like it's fitting that it's a little bit shorter considering how much I've been yapping up to this point. So let's jump right in. AITA for telling my brother's fiancé why he really missed their anniversary. My brother told his fiancé he missed their anniversary dinner because he got called into work. I knew that wasn't true because he was with me at a baseball game. He begged me not to say anything because he had already lied and it would only make things worse. Oh my god. I got my lisp on recording. I'm keeping that in there. Continuing. A few days later, his fiancée was talking about how lucky she was to have someone who actually cared so much about his job, and I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I told her where he actually was. She immediately left, and now their wedding is on hold. My brother said I ruined his relationship over one stupid lie, and my parents think I should have stayed out of it because it wasn't my business. Am I the asshole? I think she deserved to know that she was being lied to. Edit. To clarify, my brother invited me to go to the game, and I was unaware of their anniversary. Wow. OP has offered the following explanation to why they think they might be the asshole. I told my brother's fiance the truth about why he missed their anniversary, not the asshole. Everyone thinks I'm an asshole for telling her, and I think they might be right because it may have ruined their relationship, and now their wedding is being put on hold. Okay. OP is the hero, not the asshole. First of all, actually, I remember picking out this story and thinking this was going to be my original thought, but the keyword here is fiance. Okay, even if it was wife, you know, maybe it was recently married wife. What are they called? Annulments? What is that thing when you like cancel out your wedding or your marriage certificate? That's still a thing. And this is the brother's fiance. I absolutely think you should have told this person. OP is just a girl's girl. I'm sorry, but I would not. I would do this too, even if I love my brother to death. I love both my brothers to death. But this is something that if it came up like 10 years later and I got really close with this fiance and I don't know, say they were married 10 years later, now they have kids, she finds out about this 10 years later, right? And it's say for example, he continues to forget. Like this is a repeat behavior, okay? Then he finds out that he did it before they even got married. I would feel awful if they ended up getting, you know, a divorce or chances are that they would. Again, relationship hater here. But if this guy is basing his marriage, but they haven't even started being married yet. He lied to go to a baseball game. Just say, "Hey babe, I booked these tickets and totally forgot which day of the week it is." It's June. It's June right now. I feel like January was 60 days long and it was last week. It is June. It's July in a couple of days. Okay? Just be honest. Just be honest. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I can't even lie about little things in life. I'd rather just be upfront because then I'll just sit there and think about my lie for the rest of the day. I don't know. Let's read some comments and see if I'm on the same page. I'm literally waving my hands right now. I'm so passionate. Someone said, not the asshole. What the fuck is going on in this sub? Not your business. He literally made it your business when he used you in his cover up. Boom. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Wow. It's not your business, but guess what? You were there and he begged you not to lie. Don't put me in a position where I need to lie on your behalf. Oh, here we go. His lie. And somehow he tried to make it seem like OP is the one who lied. With the parents acting like this is why this man is old enough to be engaged and is still such an infant in his behavior. That's another good point. Wow. Everybody's kind of cooking in the comments right now. My parents think I should have stayed out of it because it wasn't my business. Thank goodness OP turned out okay. And not everybody in this family is, their pants on fire. At least somebody's pants are, intact. Because yeah, that is very telling. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree if the parents are getting upset about it as well. That's probably why the brother even felt like he could do this in the first place. I am curious about the parents' dynamic now. She deserved to know. Yeah. Thank you, OP, for telling her. Thank you for being a girl's girl. You didn't ruin the relationship. You helped this girl dodge a bullet, to be honest with you. And if anything, probably just expedited it before, real little baby humans became a thing. Guess what happens after weddings, guys? Babies. I'm telling you, this would have happened eventually. They eventually, if they would have got married, they would have got divorced. And then they would have had kids as well. So sounds like the fiance is way better off. And to be fair, okay, to be fair, OP did not say anything right away. It's not like OP just left the game and then immediately called the fiance. A few days later, the fiance was talking about how lucky she was to have someone who cared so much about his job. That is just sad to hear. She was getting so excited that this guy cares so much about his job. Not only is he a liar, but she's got like this false idea of her fiance. So, good job, OP. NTA. Okay. We have one story left. I guess this is gonna be a little bit of a longer video. I guess like mid-scale. I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying that because I posted like 4 videos, but I'm only gonna read 4 stories in this one. So I know you guys know this. If you don't know this, welcome to my channel, first of all. But I'm really open to feedback. I do want the content to grow with my viewers as well. So depending on what you guys like, I know I yapped a lot. I feel like I yapped a lot. I took my meds today. I cannot stop talking. I feel like I talked more than the stories. Honestly, this is the part that I've missed from videos I've seen posted like this online. So, and honestly, even if you tell me, there's a pretty high chance that I'm gonna have a hard time holding back from yapping because I got a lot of hot takes. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these. I plan on posting it weekly, if not bi-weekly. I think this week is going to be a weekly video. And then in the description, I also have my Twitch linked. I stream on there a lot throughout the week. If you wanted just like some, I don't know, non-edited content, I tend to yap on there as well. I also don't read any of these ahead of time. One, so you can get my raw reaction, but actually that's kind of the main reason. I don't like reading in the first place. The title of this one, the whole point of me saying this is the title of this one is hilarious. I am so excited to read it. We're gonna jump in. Without further ado, without continuing to yap too much, let's jump into story number 4. This one has an original post link to it, so we're gonna read the original post and then the update. Hence why I don't know if this is 1 or 2 stories left. Anyway, thank you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're alive. Okay. Am I the asshole for bringing Tupperware to a restaurant? Hey there. I think I need a few strangers from the internet to decide what's going on here. So a few weeks ago, I, female, went to a burger place with a girlfriend of mine. I know they serve quite big burgers, and in the past I always had leftovers. I decided to bring a Tupperware this time, just in case. We love a sustainable girly. I ordered my burger, added some wedges, and enjoyed my meal while having a super nice conversation. I ate maybe a third of the wedges and not even half of the burger and decided to stop because I also wanted some dessert. After ordering, I pulled out my box and started to fill it with my leftovers. You know, I felt quite clever. I didn't overeat and there was still space for dessert in my belly. I didn't have to pay $1 or so for the doggy bag, which had leaked in my bag in the past, and there would be enough for the next day's lunch. So a triple win, if you will. After everything was packed and I put the box in my bag, I realized my friend was kind of quiet, but didn't thought much about it. She tends to be quiet after eating. After we were done, everyone paid for their own meal and we left. She looked at me and was like, "Oh my gosh, this was so embarrassing." I was confused. She explained to me how awkward she felt and people were staring and whatnot, and I was kind of mad. I explained my point of view, the benefits and all, but nope. In the end, I was like, please calm down. It's not like I took the box to an all-you-can-eat buffet and stuff it full in front of the waiters. We also didn't split the bill, so it's fine. I ordered more with tomorrow in mind. She was still mad, so we went out separate ways. But here's the thing. I still think it's a good, environmental, friendly way, and did it again while eating with a guy friend a few days ago. He was like, "Whoa, that's neat," and even gave me some of his onion rings. I would have given her a fist bump. So, dear strangers of the internet, am I the asshole or not? Should I have communicated before pulling out my box? Should I have asked the waiter, which hadn't said anything at all? Should I just buy a leftover box from the restaurant next time? I absolutely don't know. Please share your thoughts with me. What also comes to mind? I'm quite overweight and struggle with BED, so I was happy to not overeat. My friend is a normal weight and has no ED as far as I know. Thank you for reading. There's an edit. Thank you for all the replies so far. I'll answer a few things here. Where are you from? Central Europe. This thread is huge, so that should be specific enough. Yeah, I had a feeling that this was like translated or something. I didn't want to be too hard on like the grammar and like there's like some words that are backwards in here. I wouldn't be surprised if this person's from like Spain or something, honestly, because I was like, me reading this the first time, I didn't read the whole thing. I stopped after like the second paragraph, but it kind of reads like it's their second language, which is awesome. So good job. Here it's super common to pay for one of these items, for example, boxes in restaurants and plastic bags. That's another reason why I didn't think it was from the US. It was not a date. Maybe the term female friend would have been better. But yeah, it was just a girls' dinner. I could be a little eccentric from time to time. My friends know that. But she and I weren't out for lunch/dinner often. In general, she's a very nice and pleasant person to be around, and we have a good time together. I'm pretty sure there was some kind of trigger. I will contact her tomorrow and try to contact her. So there might be an update coming. Ooh. I'm gonna give my original thoughts and then read the update. Not the asshole. This person is kind of an awesome friend just for not, immediately judging their friend and assuming that there is some kind of a trigger in there. Shout out OP for that, honestly. Instead of just like immediately thinking that, I don't know, I have a hard time assuming positive intent when something like this happens, because it's like, why do you care? Why do you care? I am all about this triple win. First of all, it's sustainable, it's proactive. The other doggy bag leaked in their bag before, and that sounds awful. A bag probably truly can't recover from some like beef juice being spilled in it. So yeah, not the asshole. I am so excited to read this update. Let's jump into it. Update. Am I the asshole for bringing Tupperware to a restaurant? Hey there. First, I want to thank you for all the responses in my original post. I really appreciate it. We appreciate you, OP. For the update, the day after my original post, I reached out to my friend and asked if she has time in the next few days. We met today for a long stroll in the park. The beginning was kind of awkward because we never had a fight before. Normally, it's also not a problem when life is busy and we don't write for a few days or even a few weeks, but today it somehow feels strange. I'm not a fan of beating around the bush, so I simply asked her, "So in that burger place, what exactly triggered you?" Honestly, it was like poking a water balloon. She apologized for everything and how afraid she was that I might still be mad at her and apologize some more. She explained to me what her trigger was. What can I say? We were all kind of wrong. Ooh! You guys, it's her aunt. Oh, I love how OP is coming back to this like this. It's like I feel like we're FaceTiming, but I'm reading a Reddit post. She has an aunt who will always bring a few boxes for family and gatherings, but instead of waiting until everyone is done and the food is back in the kitchen, which is fine, she sometimes fills the boxes before it goes to the table. Because my friend's grandma knows of this behavior, she started to cook even more. But the aunt just brought more boxes as well. But that's not all. Said the aunt will also bring boxes to restaurants and if they order different meals, so everyone could try from all the plates. She's like, no one wants that anymore, right? And packs while people are still eating. My friend is a slow eater, so often her aunt filled her boxes before she could try everything she wanted. I always wanted to use the word flabbergasted in a post. I think this might be the right time. I was definitely flabbergasted. How impudent can a person be? I asked. Why no one is saying anything about it, and they're all just too tired to deal with her outbreaks, so it's easier to say nothing. I felt that. So yeah, she knew it was my food and everything. It also triggered her real bad. I apologized as well for not warning her, but she said it was totally her fault, and I will make sure the next time. And she was like, no. It's a nice way to work on it. Well, in the end, we had a really nice stroll, talked about different things, and everything is good. I'm glad, and we cleared that out, though. Thank you for reading this. Everyone have a nice day/week. Yeah, that's a really wholesome ending. Honestly, I'm glad that the friend is not also an asshole, and this is a great circle back moment of why it's important just to be kind and clear with people in your communication. This person said, I don't like beating around the bush, so she just asked her friend what triggered her. Was emotionally intelligent enough to understand that it's not something that is probably having to do with her actually just packaging up the food in the restaurant. You know, it's deeper than that. Let me just ask my friend what's going on. And they probably became closer because of it. And now they get to continue to go out to nice lunches. And it's almost like, what do they call that? Reaction therapy? Hold on. Exposure therapy. I didn't have to look it up. Exposure therapy. Now. But yeah, that's very sustainable. And I'm really surprised, honestly. Well, I'm not surprised that the waiter didn't say anything in the first one, because if it's somewhere that you have to pay for a doggy bag, like pay for a plastic bag in California or whatever, like people bring their own bags to avoid that. So it kind of just sounded like that with the Tupperware. I'm not surprised that the waiter didn't say anything to OP the first time. But can we talk about this aunt for a second? What now we gotta go down the rabbit hole and figure out what this aunt's trigger is. Like what's she I don't know. I don't want to make any insensitive jokes, but like, why is the aunt collecting food like this? Like, does she actually eat all of it? Does it go to waste? I have so many more questions. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Last thing I'll say is I am just grateful you were born.